After the Vietnam War ended on April 30th, 1975, more than 1 million people fled the communist ruling by boats to the South China Sea. They faced obstacles such as pirate attacks, violent sea storms, thirst, and starvation. Many lives were lost. Those that survived the journey immigrated to non-communist countries around the world. The majority of them found freedom and new life in the United States. My dad was one of them. Hello, my name is Ryan Nguyen. This is my dad, Nam Nguyen. Today I'm going to interview him about his boat journey from Vietnam to America.
Hi, Ryan.
So, Dad, my first question to you is, when did you escape Vietnam and why?
I left Vietnam 31 years ago on April 11, 1979. The reason I left Vietnam because at that time, 4 years after the fall of Saigon, the end of the Vietnam War, and many people were living in poverty, and many people escaped on the boats from the communist oppression. It usually costs about 5 bars of gold per person to get on a boat, and my family was poor, but my dad found an opportunity for me to leave with the help of his youngest brothers. My uncle, who let me join his children to go on a boat for free. One afternoon, my dad took my arm while I was playing marbles to go inside, and he asked me if I would want to go on a boat journey. And he warned me that I may not see him, my mom, my brothers, and my sister again for a long time, and maybe forever. He told me to think about it and let him know later that night. But I told him right away that I would go.
Dad, does that mean you left Vietnam alone? And how old were you?
I was 12 years old, and yes, you can say that I left Vietnam alone because my brothers and sister did not come with me. Instead, I escaped with my cousins, the children of my uncle that I mentioned earlier.
Were your brothers and sisters sad when they found out that you were leaving them behind?
Actually, they wasn't aware that I left them behind because we had to keep the escape plan a secret, so my brothers and sister won't tell their friend. If they do, soon the police will find out and will arrest us.
My next question is, what did you pack for the trip?
Before the trip, my parents gave me some money to buy some new clothes. I had a small carry-on bag, and I remember I had on a brand new pair of pants. It's a dark blue, a white shirt, a pair of leather shoes. I also carried some of my family pictures along, and these are the photos we took only a few days before the escape.
So, did you wear the new clothes for the trip?
Actually, we didn't I didn't wear new clothes for the trip. When we escaped, everybody had to dress down, so we all look like ordinary people.
What transportation did you take?
We took several types of transportation from my uncle's house in Saigon. My cousin and I get on a couple of cyclos, and we went to a bus station, and from there the bus took us to the countryside, and it dropped us off in the middle of nowhere. And we walked a long time along a river bank, and we met 2 canoes, and each one had a man with paddles on it, and they took us on a river for about an hour, and then we met at a home next to the river, and it was totally dark, and we met a big group of people there, and pretty soon we all went down on a boat, and that's our boat, and we had to crawl through a secret compartment in the basement of the boat. And we were on the river for like 2 days before we reached the ocean.
How big was the boat and how many people were on it?
The boat was about 35 feet long, and later on I learned that we had a total of 68 people.
You mentioned the small secret compartment in the basement. It must be uncomfortable to have that many people inside of it. Tell me about it.
Yes, it was very uncomfortable inside that compartment. The boat was reconfigured to have people hidden in the bottom. On top of us, they put big ice block to make it look like a normal fixing boat. And everyone had to sit with our arm around our knees and our head next to each other, and we didn't have any room for stretching. We didn't have enough air, so a lot of women and children passed out, and the smell in there is terrible. I felt like I couldn't breathe, and we had to stay there for 2 days during the travel along the Mekong River, because there were a lot of police and security checkpoints, and every time we stopped for that, everyone had to pretty much hold our breath, and the mothers have to cover the babies from crying, and it's really scary and really tense.
Were you scared that something bad was going to happen?
Yes, I was very afraid, and I remember everyone was very afraid, especially during the boat ride along the Mekong River. When I was in Saigon, my friends and my neighbors have heard people escape Vietnam, and they got killed or missing from the pirates' attack. And actually, we got really unlucky, and we met the pirates on our first day in the ocean when we were in the middle of the Gulf of Thailand.
What did the pirates do to the people on the boat?
The pirates repeatedly attacked our boat that afternoon. They jumped over and they tied our boat to their boats, and they used weapon, knife, and they searched everyone for gold and jewelry, and they empty oil and water cans, and even they cut up the rice bags, and they tossed all our belongings to their boats. And I was hoping that they did not take my carry-on bag with my clothes and my family photos on it, but they did. They just threw it over to their boat without even looking at it. The last pirates boat attacked us. They came over and they looked around, and they saw that we didn't have much left, so they just just laughed at us like crazy. And then I remember one pirate, he pulled the belt from my boat's captain, Mr. Dong Ton, and he just held up the belt up, and he looked at it, and he just laughed like a crazy person. And then him and his all the pirates jumped back to their boats and disappeared in the dark.
So what happened after that?
By this time, it's already dark, and I remember that the ocean was becoming more violent, and the storm already arrived. One person from our boat decided to cut the rope that connect our boat to that one boat, and and the wave pretty much pulled us away from that boat, and we were really lucky that we didn't. We were worried that they may have gun, but we didn't hear any gunshot. But as soon as we got away from the pirates, there was a violent sea storm, and all night I remember the men on our boat trying to repair the engines because it was damaged by the pirates, and also we didn't have any oil and gas left other than what inside the engine. The men and women have to take turn and empty the water from the boat, keep it from sinking. And I didn't have much on. I only have a short on, and I was all wet, and I was trying to hold on to one of the wooden blocks on the boat to keep me from being thrown into the ocean. And it was really cold. I don't know how we survived, but we did. And I remember the next day I woke up in a really beautiful sun and very peaceful ocean.
So how did you survive?
That morning, we saw a black smoke in the horizon, and the people on our boat decided to head to that direction. And soon we found out it's a ship. We didn't know what kind of ship it was, but it was a big ship. And the people on our boat waved at them with a white blanket on a wooden pole. And we begged them for about 15 minutes, and they finally gave in and let us get on the ship. I think they realized how terrible condition of our boat and the people there. One woman gave birth to a baby on top of our boat while being rescued, and she named that baby Acuna, the name of the ship that saved our life. And I believe that person, Acuna, is living in Southern California at this point.
How long did you stay on the Kuna ship, and what did you do in there?
We stayed on the Acuna ship for about 10 days. The reason we stay on that ship that long because the country like Malaysia and Thailand and Singapore refused to let us go on one of their refugee camps because they closed those camps down at that time. The Acuna was like a miracle and a wonder. I spent a lot of time exploring the decks of the ship because it was my first time in the ocean. Before the escape, I never seen the ocean actually. And this is the first time I get to be on a big ship, and it's like a floating hotel. So I touched everything, I look at everything, and I spent a lot of time looking at the ocean and the sunset, waiting for the flying fish to take off from the water. And I also play with the seabirds, a lot of them kind of all around the ship.
That sounds like fun when you were on the ship. So where did it take you?
The captain of the Acuna decided to let it land in Indonesia. What they did was they paid the fishermen some money, and they told us in the middle of the night we have to get on the boats, small boats, and those boats took us to an unknown island. And the captain told us when we get to the island, we cannot be in a big group. We have to divide up in small groups in our family, and we have to run inland as far as possible. Because the island was really small, the next day, we pretty much end up almost like unite in a big group. We were kind of scared and feel uncertain. And the local authority finally found us that morning, and by the evening, they brought in some big boats, and they took all of us out to the ocean and go to another remote island. And that island became our refugee camp, and the name of the camp is Pulau Butan.
How long did you stay in the refugee camp, and what was it like living in there?
My cousin and I stayed in the refugee camp, Pulau Butan, for about 6.5 months. Life in the refugee camp was really simple because we didn't have much at all. The first day we have to sleep in the open because there wasn't any tent or housing, and the next day his family went up to the forest and cut trees and vines, and we made our own huts. And because we didn't have school to attend, so all of us kids pretty much play every day. So I spent all day in the beach swimming or hiking. It was a lot of fun, and I really had a lot of good memories with friends at a refugee camp.
From the refugee camp, how did you come to America?
When I was in a refugee camp, we had a sponsor from Nebraska. A church named Holy Cross Lutheran Church in Kearney sponsored us. And we arrived to Kearney, Nebraska on November 27, 1979. And I found out later that weekend happened to be a Thanksgiving weekend, so I remember it was one of the best moments of my life.
Dad, if you can do this all over again, Would you leave your family behind to travel on such a dangerous journey to come to this country?
Yes, I had an unforgettable journey for freedom, and I found a new life in America. Um, Starting a new life in this country without my brothers and sister and without my parents wasn't easy. I was very lonely. I really missed my family and my classmates for a long time. Um, and while I was growing up in Nebraska, I have some difficulties um, not having a home, and I have to stay in a lot of foster homes. But I don't have any regret because I pretty much living my dream. I have a wonderful family, and I have you. Looking at you right now, um, I feel very blessed, and I'm very grateful that you allowed me to share my story with your friends, and I love you.
America is the land of freedom and opportunity. Like many Americans of many generations, my father came to this country for freedom and starting a new life. He also benefited a good education from a college degree. He worked hard to achieve his American dream. Thank you for sharing your story with me, Dad, and thank you everyone for watching.
You're welcome, Ryan.